Welcome, this is G Allastrology, and this is the Aquarius October 2019 reading. If you have not watched the first part of October 2019 All Signs, you'd want to go back and watch that either before or after, right after this video. It'll give you a greater understanding of the overall energies for the month of October. There's a lot going on, people. This is a Pluto month, okay? I am going to cover in this video the new moon and the full moon. The full moon happens on the 13th of October and the new moon happens at the end of the month. You want to definitely stay tuned for that. This is a loaded new moon. It's not a normal new moon. Normally we just have, like, you know, we have our crystals out and we're setting our intentions and our feathers and we're doing all the good stuff and the sage burning. This is a loaded new moon. Okay, so stay tuned for that. At the end of the video, I can give you some guiding tips to to lead us into November, which we will definitely need. All right, I'm covering Aquarius. All right, so we're going to begin with the bulk of the energies, which is the full moon in Aries on the 20th of, Aries at 20 degrees on the 13th of October. So if you do not know where that is in your chart, you need to comment below. This reading is rising sign readings. If you don't know what your rising sign is, let me know. Go down below and comment. I'll hook you up, okay? Alrighty, here we go. Let's dive into it. The full moon's happening in your third house, which means this is the house of communications, your house of thinking, the house of neighbors, the house of siblings, the house of the internet, social media, the house of commerce and business and networking, the house of writing, okay, the house of teaching. So you're having your full moon there, okay? You're having your full moon in that house. So Aquarians, at the time of the full moon, you are, this is a very masculine energy because it's Aries, but at the same time, it's also going to be touching Eris, which is an asteroid. It's a feminine asteroid. It's like the divine feminine. So you might be having thoughts that are related to nurturing and mothering and women's rights, definitely women's rights, I would say, in this placement, if you're an Aquarius rising, because of the fact that it's Aries, which is a fighter, which wants to be the first one out of the gate. So you might notice a rise in that in you. Not that it didn't already exist. It was there, but you might sense heightened emotions at this time for you. Be aware of this. You're being affected by the full moon, okay? Which means it's always important to you. It's always going to be important to you. But at this time, there's something about it where you feel like you want to do something about it, okay? Just be smart and think first before you act. That's always my advice to Aries energy. Think before you act, think before you speak, type of thing. Look before you leap, all right? Opposing that energy, okay, so that's Aries on the one side, and on the opposite of that is going to be where the sun is at. And it's important that I talk about this at this time because Mars is going to be there too, at the exact opposite. So this is going to be in your 9th house, which is going to be in your beliefs and your opinions, okay? 9th house is the house of Sag, so it's all about, I am the teacher, I am the authority when it comes to wisdom. I know better than everybody else. So your opinions, your beliefs, this is the house of higher learning, okay? You're going to have Mars and the sun there. So that lights that house up. And because Mars is there, it means I'm going to take action on my opinions. I'm going to take action on my beliefs, all right? You need to know this ahead of time, right? Because with the full moon, it means you're going to be pulled to do this and pulled to do this. You know, it's like this tug of war that's going on. And that's not a bad thing. It's just be aware. You know, what happens? Like, it gets pulled. Sometimes it splits down the middle. You don't want that to happen. Just delegate. Be smart. That's why I said about the full moon time with the Aries, instead of being impulsive, you want to think first before you act, all right? Use your 9th house power, because having the sun and Mars in your 9th house, well, having Mars anywhere, wherever Mars is in someone's chart, it makes us more active. It makes us take action. It makes us more passionate for that area that it's sitting on at that time, okay? And use it to your advantage. Use the thinking traits to your advantage right now. Now, this could also pertain to wanting to get in the car and take a long journey, because the ninth house is long distance travels. So maybe not in the car. Maybe you might be planning a trip at this time, or thinking about, oh, I want to go on vacation. I want to go here. I want to go do this. And it'd probably be something that, you know, you'd feel like you really needed to do. You needed to get away. Just understand you're being affected by the full moon. These feelings will pass. And if it's, you know, it's something you can act on later, but maybe start to plan now. But I would advise you not to plan it during a Mercury retrograde, which is coming at the end of the month. And that's some of the things we have to talk about later. So let's move on now to that. Okay, that happens on the 28th roughly. And there's a lot of things going on at that time. It's a loaded new moon. It almost has the feeling of a full moon in the sense that there's an awareness coming about our value system, about what we value. And there's a part of us that's emerging. It's a part of us where our soul is going to come out, and it's going to dissolve part of our ego, part of our physical being. And so there's this life's work, what I came to do type of energy, type of feeling, type of knowing. We have this desire for higher. We have this elevated sense of ascension going on. We have a awareness of our knowing that we didn't have before. Our divine desire bursts through. Now recognize everybody's going to be going through this. Okay, so it's my truth is my truth, and it doesn't have to be everybody's truth. Okay, we need to remember that. We all need to remember this. So keep in mind that that's going to be coming about, and it's important that you embrace it and you harness it and you hold on to it, and you're going to utilize this, because this is the moment. October is the moment where the universe has said, rise up, children, rise up. It's time. It is time for you to recognize and acknowledge the divine sparks within you, the divine degrees that reside within you, and see them and feel them, understand and accept them, and bring them out and share them with the world. So we're all getting more clarity on just what the heck that is. So where is this happening in your chart? Let me take a deeper dive here for you so I can pinpoint that. So this is going to be happening in an area where it's more about, I understand what it takes to keep me at peace, what my inner emotional world is about, what I want my home to look like, what I want my home to be like. Okay, it's kind of really focused on home and nurturing, and maybe nurturing oneself and supporting oneself and understanding this nurturing part of yourself that you maybe had buried and weren't aware of, but that it can be healing when you do that, healing for you and healing for others. And there might be some creativity that is involved in that as well, I'm seeing. Something that brings peace, okay? Whether it's through food, but something that has to do with the senses, you know, whether it's aromatherapy or whatever, something that has to do with that. And so you want to latch onto it and cultivate it. Take that piece, use it as a piece of in your tools and your special craft, and don't hide it. Okay, there's another thing we have to discuss for the end of October, because like I said, it's a loaded new moon. Now at that same time, there's also this square. There's a stress. There's a tension, which means more work. And it's going to be happening with your belief systems, your ninth house, all that crap I talked about earlier, right? Your opinions and your beliefs. And it's going to be, a tension is going to be set up through some hidden authority in your life, it seems, because it's like this 12th house thing where there might be some hidden authority figure or a hidden work, something that you just weren't aware of. That's all the hidden means. It doesn't mean like there's someone literally creeping around a corner. Hidden is just, we have so many degrees to our body, not just our physical body, but our auric body, our energetic shell is there as well. And so there's so many layers to us as human beings. There's a deep psychological part of ourselves that we haven't tapped into most times. And so it's almost as though there's going to be this tension set up to this deeper yet higher level of authority for you, which it's almost to me sounds like somebody who's trying to sit down and do a meditation, but they just can't do it because there's something they kind of have to square away first, which is fine. And squaring away just means instead of it taking 4 steps, there's 8 steps required because it's a Saturn thing, and Saturn rules time, and Saturn requires more work of us. But understand something. It sounds kind of doom and gloomish because I've used the word authority, and I'm sorry I even used that word, but it just means someone that you probably look up to, okay? So in a tangible way, you can fill in the blanks for yourself in the material world. But if it's in the house of Pisces, tangible in the house of Pisces, well, it's funny because tangible, Pisces isn't tangible, it's the untangible. It's God, it's source, you know? So maybe there's just some working out and some resolving of beliefs that you have to take care of, that you have to kind of smooth out, was what it looks like to me. But understand that once that's done, that is going to come, that is going to happen. Because what starts in Saturn, the work that Saturn requires of us, if we do the things that Saturn asks of us, it gives us what we asked for. It gives us what we've been working for. But it does require that we take those steps and we do the work, okay? Now this falls right into my next point, which is the Mercury retrograde that's coming. It begins October 31st. So what does that mean? Mercury retrogrades require more time to do things, whatever it is that we're working on. Instead of it being a 4-hour project, it's now going to be an 8-hour project. So that means if you're smart, you're going to allow more time for the next following 3 weeks. Okay, starting October 31st, if there are some projects you're working on. So for you, that's going to be happening, that's going to happen in your work, actually. So in your professional life, your career, your greatest goals, hopes, and aspirations, how you want to be known in the world, how you want to be recognized, what you want to be recognized for. It means have patience. It means go over the details. Don't get stuck in the details, but be willing to look at the details. Dot the I's, cross the T's. Be more methodical when you're doing things. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with this process. Basically, the goal of this process, of any Mercury process, is to make sure that we come at the end with a quality product, that the communication has been clear. So remember, this could have to do with your job. Whatever you do for a living, your work, it could have to do with clear communications, okay? Making sure communication is clear. So if communication is done through writing, you're going to want to be checking over writing. If communication is done through speech, make sure you're very careful in the way that you speak. Make sure you're maybe writing things out first. Maybe you're backing communications up with emails so that there's no discrepancies, okay? You know, make sure you get it in print type of thing. So just make sure that you are going over things and everything will come out fine. Like I said before, it's to make sure that the product, the thing that we're working on, ends up truly being of high quality. Okay? So that concludes the October 2019 Aquarius reading. Thank you.